guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm here at Kaizen Motorsports. I'm here with Jose from Kaizen Motorsports. Tell us about yourself.
I'm the proprietor, sole ownership of Kaizen, sole owner Kaizen, and I've roughly been doing this now for about 26 years. And my specialty is 2JZ, 1JZ Toyota Supra platform.
Behind us, we have this beautiful MK4 Supra built by the one and only Kaizen Motorsports. Tell us about what you have done to this build.
Well, those old builds, they come in for an oil change and then essentially they leave with just about everything done to them. This car started live as a 3.4 non-VVTI motor and is now a VVTI 2JZ 3.4 liter motor, making about 1200 horsepower.
Let's pop the hood and see what's under it.
Sure.
Beautiful. A lot of titanium everywhere, from hardware to cooling plate to cold side, hot side. A lot of titanium everywhere. How did it turn out this crazy?
So originally it came in for flex fuel and an engine wiring harness. The car originally was on a Motec gold box, which, you know, it had its time, but that quickly turned into a full engine rebuild because the previous motor was damaged and it was not salvageable. So we had to go through and rebuild a new motor, build a new head. Then customer requested a new turbo because pretty much the entire setup of the car prior to this was a kind of like a Fast and the Furious build. It had that turbonetics turbo. It had just about all those parts from the original Fast and the Furious car. But he wanted to get rid of that and he wanted to get a little more modern technology put into the car. So we ended up going with the Garrett G45 1500 turbocharger with a lot of the PHR goodies for the exhaust and the manifold. It came with an original Veil side intake manifold, which had a humongous throttle body. We have now changed that to a Hellcat Red Eye throttle body, which is an 82 millimeter. And it's now fully drive-by-wire configured, as well as AC tuck lines, the hard lines for the catch can. It had a full custom radiator in it.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Which we decided to go with back to factory, just for simplicity and being able to find parts and replace them as needed if the car needed them as it ages. With a slew of a bunch of other XRP fuel lines and fittings that allowed us to do the ethanol that he wanted to run. 2600cc injectors from ID and PHR intercooler. Everything else other than that is a fairly stock build. 5-inch Canon air filter with titanium piping, along with the water-cooled wastegate, as well as the turbo is water-cooled. So all that plumbing was done, so it's functional.
I like how you still kept the clutch fan.
Oh, yeah,
why is that?
Absolutely. You know, the clutch fan works. When the components are put together, Toyota made this car and there was 1,500 engineers that probably worked on that, and they decided that this was going to keep this car cool. So when I look at things like this, I look back to an old friend that once told me 1,500 Toyota engineers can't be wrong. So we keep the factory clutch fan, as well as we upgraded the factory AC fan on the bottom there. So that's got a SPAL 6-inch now. And then in front of the AC condenser, it's got a 10-inch SPAL 10-inch fan as well. So we do have electric fans on here because we have now cut out so much more of the airflow now because of this 5-inch Powerhouse Racing intercooler. So we wanted to give as much airflow as possible to the air conditioning condenser, because we want the AC to work like if you were sitting in your stock Corolla in traffic on a Friday morning going to work. So it should work, it should stay cold inside the car, and the additional fans help with that. It's not so much for the radiator and the engine cooling, because when we were dynoing this car, the temperatures never went above 175 degrees while making pull after pull after pull after pull. It would typically, when we go to a dyno, it's a 4-hour process, and the engine never gets cooled down. It does like cool down runs, but it's not sitting there for 30 to 40 minutes to cool down. We'd run it as if you were running the car on the street. Keeps everything balanced when it comes to drivability versus the dyno life, kind of just together, right? Because in a dyno you can open the hood, but on the street you can't do that. So we want to keep it so where it's copacetic with whatever it is that you're driving, right, on the street. And since this car is going to go to Vegas, Vegas heat is 110, 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and we want to make sure that this car performs in that heat with the air conditioning, you know, pretty cool inside. We know that it's not going to go make pulls at 120 degrees, because you know you'd be crazy to do that. But it should be able to do it because we have the right air cooler, we have the radiator for it, we have all the fans to go with it. So every little bit of this car has been thought out, left to right, front to back. How is it going to, you know, work with everything else? Everything is thought of. We can't not think of nothing and then say, oh shit, we forgot. No, we have to do it. The engine revs to 9,000 RPM. It could rev higher, obviously, but then it's limited to the oil pump. So our hard rev limiter is 8,900 RPM.
A lot has been done to the motor, so what transmission is this thing running?
It's still a V160 actually, but it's not using your typical, you know, tilt and clutch. It's not using an RPS clutch. It's actually using ORC triple. And
Triple disc?
Yeah, it's a triple disc, and it drives like stock. It's super easy to modulate, and just about anyone can drive it. I'll let you drive it later, and you can tell me if you like it or not.
Let's see the interior.
Sure. Again, it's 100% still going on. We're trying to put the finishing touches on the car, but it's got carbon door panels with the GT3 pulls and carbon seats as well. Carbon panels throughout. So inside, you'll find a lot of carbon bits. This is just an overlay because the original panels were kind of messed up. But the car now features Apple CarPlay and reverse camera as well. So now you have a reverse camera as well, and featuring also TPMS monitoring from VVTI. So you can tell what your pressures are for tires and the temperature as well. We still haven't rolled the wheels, so the data is still incorrect. So right now it's CAN bus has to be set up correctly to have everything get picked up by the ECU as well. So yeah, but obviously other than that, you still have your original gauges here. You know, all that stuff still functions as it should. Air conditioning and heating still works. We'll show them the best part.
Let's see the best part.
So this was built in the 90s or early 2000s, I want to say maybe. So you know, everybody used to have a big system in them. So here we go. We're still rocking a full Alpine sound system with big 12-inch JL Audio W6 or W7. I don't know, one of those two. If I'm mistaken. And you know, this was still part of the original build of the car from the 90s or 2000s. Everything underneath here, fuel-wise, was ran through the body, which was horrible. So we went with the Powerhouse Racing fuel pump hanger with 3 fuel pumps, and all the wiring had been cleaned up inside. So yeah, no more early 2000s bullshit.
Where's the battery in this thing? It's not in the trunk. It's not in the engine bay.
Yeah, it's actually down here. There's a gentleman on the internet, Instagram, that makes these kits that mounts anti-gravity batteries inside here in the corner. And because the battery's not that easy to get to for a normal Joe, right? So we decided to add this connector here so that you have a MagSafe style type connector so that you can put your battery tender on there if you need to, or to jumpstart the car from here instead.
So we know the battery is under the headlight. So where's the fuse box?
Good question. Fuse box is tucked away neatly under here, also behind there.
So it's under the other headlight.
It's under the headlight. Actually, there's still fuses and there's still relays in this car. It does not have a PDM like most new cars have nowadays. And obviously you have things like Haltech that have PDMs, Motecs have PDMs. Again, we tried to take dollar as far as possible with this car. And the customer's like, look, I don't want to spend $10,000 on a Motec. Can we make this car run without a Motec, but still have the quality and the drivability of the car? I said, sure, absolutely. So we went with a Max ECU with a brand new engine harness. And then I made one of my customs front fuse box delete harnesses. And it tucks away the harness underneath the headlight, and the fuse box is underneath there as well.
I love how you can't see no stuff on the near the shock tower. It's all shaved, everything.
And I mean, you can always shave it more, but this wasn't supposed to be that. This was just to be a nice, clean engine bay. It's not a show car, you know, because you could have gone way wilder on the tuck. But for the most part, it's still functional, and you can still get to a lot of the things that you need to service. Like the catch can needs to be serviced, you can get to that, as well as there's also hard lines there that everything has been Cerakoted.
The turbo and all that stuff.
Turbo, hot side, and cold side Cerakoted, intake manifold Cerakoted, PHR, the catch can is Cerakoted.
The downpipe?
And the downpipe as well, yes. Everything that's hot is Cerakoted in the car. And the catch can lines were made out of aluminum because I didn't want any hoses to burn under heat. It has happened before in our road race car, and we decided not to have that ever happen again, so we make them on hard lines.
So the harness, the hard lines, and everything, right. You guys do that in-house?
Right. So all the wiring, all the plumbing we do in-house. We built the engine. We had to, obviously we farm out the head and the block to get machined because we don't have the capabilities to do that. But if you notice too, it has no big, humongous coils too. We're using these Audi coils, and they have worked with so many other people, and we have now pushed these to 1,200 horsepower. The car makes 1,208 horsepower at 28 pounds of boost on that G45 1500.
Right. Even the VVTI, like everything,
Yes.
cam gears, the hardware.
Yep. Factory parts, no crazy aero, just some subtle stuff. It's got a full Brembo GT kit for the MK4 Supra. This is like not an aftermarket or somebody made in their backyard. This is an actual engineered Brembo kit for the Supra. 6-piston front, 4-piston rear. From the outside, it looks pretty unassuming. It just looks like a Supra with big brake kit, some wheels, and some aero. Very mild in that, but other than that, it's it's got 1,200 horsepower to boot. So I think it'll take a Plaid for sure.
This thing just hooks and goes.
It should. We'll see. There's a lot of stuff that's behind the scenes that we're working on still. Like we're using a lot of CAN bus stuff to do drive-by-wire traction control and wheel speeds and a bunch of like other stuff. So we want to have cruise control work as well. It should be a fully functional car. It has air conditioning and heater. And it should function and take its heat. So we have to think ahead, plan ahead, figure out how the vehicle is going to be driven, how the car is going to perform in that temperature. Because from a manufacturing standpoint, brand new cars, that's what they have to do. They drive them around. There's mule cars, and they drive these cars around so that they can drive as people are going to use them. So when I build this car, I want this car to be able to go to the track and do track things, and I want this car to go and do drivability, driving to and from anywhere. If you want to drive it across country, you should be able to. I don't see why not. So we take advantage of everything that we know now from everything that we've learned.
Yes, sir.
In the back, you have a 3-foot section of titanium coupled to a 4-inch thin wall stainless downpipe that meets up to the PHR downpipe somewhere by the transmission side. So other than that, everything else back we built in-house.
Now that we have seen the outside of the car, Kaizen's gonna put it on the lift so we can see the underside.
This one's gonna shock a lot of people.
Tell us what's going down here.
Well, for the majority of the entire thing, the car still has all the factory arms in it, with the exception of the PHR solid diff version bushings. I personally don't like the polyurethane bushings, just because over time they always break and they tend to, create more problems than necessary. And the noise, because we still retain a lot of the factory subframe stuff, it's manageable. You can't really hear it. It's got a TRD two-way LSD, 220 millimeters. So this is a US spec differential. And it still retains the factory drive shaft at 1200 horsepower.
Factory drive shaft, not a one piece.
Not a one piece. It's not because we don't want to replace it. It's just that at some point, where do you stop? Like the sky's the limit. You can change the entire car, right?
Right.
But as of right now, the car's drivable. It drives, it makes power. It's a fun weekend car if you want to make it that. But for the most part, it's still the drive shaft will do it unless you put a set of drag slicks on it, then it will fucking need to get replaced. But the factory harness have been removed and replaced with stainless. I just recently found out that this car came from Pennsylvania, so it was a back east car. So a lot of the factory brake lines had some rust on them, but now they've been redone with stainless steel. All the XRP stuff for fuel and brake lines, and we removed the ABS to the request of the customer. Serviceability, we make things a little simple. Put the filter here, PHR relocation kit with an Aeromotive filter. Just keep it simple. You can find this at any Summit Racing. Since he lives in Vegas, guess what? You need a filter, go to Summit Racing. You can get one, right? So again, serviceability of the car was key. Because the customer isn't a big car guru. He loves cars, but he's not a mechanic, so if I had to tell him, hey, get part number XYZ and go to Summit Racing, get the part number, he can replace it if he wants to. And there is clearance for this to come out, because I know somebody will say something about that, but the filter comes right off without having to move any of this. It's super close, but it works. Our C triple still retains the factory slave cylinder as well, and it retains the factory pull type clutch configuration. We didn't want to go with a hydraulic internal bearing because when those fail, guess what? You're stuck. With this, if you need another one, replace the slave cylinder. It's right there, 2 bolts. Bleed the clutch fluid, and you're gone. Right? You can just go be on your way.
Back on road.
Right. So again, Toyota parts. We try to keep it as simple as possible. Everything underneath is new oil pans, new seals, new gasket, new everything else. Is a brand new engine, but there's 0 leaks whatsoever of oil in this car. Front main seal, rear main seal is completely solid, no leaks, no coolant leaks, no air leaks, no power steering leaks, nothing. The car is
no fluid leaks at all.
No fluid leaks at all. Like you can park any car underneath here, and be fine. I mean, the owner of this car owns other exotics, so if it's going to put it on a lift, you don't want your Toyota Supra pooping all over the freaking roof of your 458 Italia, right? So guess what? This can go on top, and most likely the Ferrari will leak in the Toyota instead.
A lot of the stuff is tucked under the
Right.
like stuff that you can't see from the top because the cooling plate is covered, but
Yeah.
from the underside you can see a lot of stuff that is mounted and
Yeah, and I mean, out of all of this, the most proudest thing that I like is the fact that I kept the factory overflow. Why do I feel so proud of that? Because the factory overflow works, right? And then when you go to an aftermarket intercooler or an aftermarket anything in the car, you're always trying to figure out, what am I gonna get? Oh, I can get this from this person. I can get this from that other company, right? But why, when we have a factory one, why not keep it, right? And the reason why is because everything gets moved. But when we relocated intercooler, I wanted to keep that, and it fits with like a millimeter to spare. So I'm super excited of that. And of course, power, all the power steering lines. If it's not an OEM piece, it's an aftermarket replacement. I don't recommend the stainless steel braided hoses. I'm sure you know how I feel about that. But we used an aftermarket piece from AutoZone. It's $99 and it's got a lifetime warranty from AutoZone. And it's configured exactly as the OEM hose. So why not use it, right? So this is like the slogan of this car has always been store-bought. Yeah, a lot of it is store-bought, but some of it isn't, right? The other thing too is oil lines sometimes are hard to do on a manifold with a big humongous turbo. So let's look at that real quick. The hard line is stainless steel with an XRP lower section out of a hose. And it's still utilizing factory tiered E-mounts, aftermarket alternator from Autotech. The voltage on this car stays steady at about 14.5, 14.6 the entire time. We didn't even need a second pump until after 800 horsepower. And that's on a 450 wall, bro. So
how many amps is the alternator?
this alternator, I believe, is 180.
180?
Yeah, I usually don't spec out anything bigger than that because it's not necessary.
And there's the battery, now that we can see it under the car.
The battery is here. And you can see the slew of other wires are tucked away and the AC lines.
And the battery strapped up.
Yep. And everything is labeled. So this is the trunk power wire for the amplifier, so that's labeled as well.
And the fuse box is on the other side.
Yep, fuse box on the other side.
There it is.
Mm-hmm. And Turbo Smart is the choice of blow-off valve and wastegate for this car. And obviously everything has XRP fittings on it. Everything is AN fittings. Everything. And I think it's on an old school set of HKS drag coilovers, if I'm not mistaken. Also as well, we did the air conditioning lines. Replaced pretty much all the pieces that would typically go in the engine bay with soft line that goes underneath and behind the fender and up and above. As well as some of the billet fittings that are on this AC condenser and the firewall and the compressor. All of those came from AMG Fuel Designs. I believe he was making a kit at some point for the supermarket, but he decided not to do it after a while because I guess nobody was really buying them. But I find it to be an excellent kit. Obviously, the hoses and we made the hoses, but he makes all the billet pieces, and I think he makes a good product as well.
Awesome. Looks very nice, very neat.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is dry under the bottom. There's no grease, nothing.
Yeah, at some point this car had no subframes at all. We removed everything from the car. It was just carpet inside and body. So we went through and we cleaned up everything because it had a lot of grime in it from over the years. So now, even though it doesn't have, ice blasted bottom and super clean, but it's, just mildly dusty.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's going on with the two-tone wheels? White on one side and black on one side.
We'll leave that one up to the customer to figure out.
Customer's choice.
That's what he wanted, so that's what he got. I believe the transmission was rebuilt at some point by Jack's Transmissions. I don't know, but again, this is before me, before the car was torn down by us. So from here forward is old Powerhouse, and then from here back is stuff that we did in-house.
Nice. I like how you got the hanger mounted up with the rubber bushing
Oh yeah,
in it?
that's from a Mustang.
Mustang?
Yeah, like a '96 Mustang. I think like that first generation 5.0s when they went from a Fox body to the next generation. And I think these are all from a Fox body. I mean, from a 95, 96 Mustang, I believe. That's what that is. And obviously we reinforced it, stainless steel bracket. There's one more back here again from a Mustang as well. And that's also for the titanium piece. So it doesn't, so it's got something, so it's not just floating in midair.
Right, it's solid.
Yeah, it's good.
And what gas is this on?
Currently it's on C85 because that's before we changed the intercooler out, and I wanted to keep the engine safe while we were doing dyno tuning. So I opted to do C85 so that it kept the intake air charge cooler than normal pump E85 because we actually were knocking on pump E85. Air temps were, I think, well above 180 degrees, which is ridiculous. We would have melted something if we'd have changed the fuel. But it will go back to a pump E85 now that it's the air cooler setup has been changed.
All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoy, and hope you guys learned something. That's it for this vlog. We'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, man. Thanks. Hope you enjoy.